Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today's video is to answer a question from a previous video. I did a tour on my sewing room space in a video, and I talked about waxing my sewing surface. So today I'm going to answer the question, well, what did you wax your surface with? During the tour of the sewing room, I did talk about how I cut out a piece of wood and shaped it to my acrylic tabletop. So I had one very large surface. And this wooden surface and the acrylic top, I did wax. The question was, what wax did I use? I waxed the surface so that it would be a very slick surface so that the fabric would glide on top and I had no friction on the fabric. That made my quilting surface nice and smooth, and even just regular sewing, the fabric glides. There's no friction. And the question was, what did I wax my surface with? So today I want to cover a couple of things, what you could use in a pinch, what I would not recommend, and two of my favorite products. The first thing I do want to mention is washing your surface. It is important that you do use something that is gentle on your acrylic tabletops. You don't want something that has a lot of alcohol in it like Windex. So some good old-fashioned dish detergent is a great thing to use. It takes off all of the dirt and leaves us a nice clean surface. Once the surface is clean, we're going to be able to wax it or put a silicone on so that we have that slick. Because this was a wood surface, I did try a paste wax. Now this is a finishing paste wax. You open it up and you buff the paste wax on. It gave me a nice shine, but it didn't leave the surface very slick. So I would not recommend a paste wax. I also tried a wax for a car. It was the same thing as the paste wax. It gave it a nice shiny surface, but it wasn't slick. Now, furniture polish does work. We get to spray it on and buff it, and we might need to put 2 or 3 coats on. It does leave the surface a little bit slippery so that the fabric does glide. The disadvantage to a furniture polish is I found it did not last a long time, and I'm also not sure on how this would react towards an heirloom quilt. But for a pinch, furniture polish really does work, but you'll have to apply it more than once. And I did try silicone-based hair serums. So we're going to be able to just put this on and buff it. It does work and it really leaves the surface slippery. However, it doesn't last a long time. And again, I'm not sure how much of this is going to go on the fabric, but it really does work if you're in a pinch. There is a product that we use for sewing, and they're little silicone drops. Here's one that's called So Smooth. You can get Sewer's Aid, and it really is like a silicone, and it's to condition threads and things. We could put a couple of drops on the counter and buff it down, and it does give a nice slick surface. So this is definitely a good one on the list. And because it's made for thread, I know it's safe for my fabric. I then came across a product that is a spray that's actually designed for what I wanted. This particular one is from Sullivan's, and it's a spray. So I've started with the clean, dry surface and put a light spray. And there's a very little smell to this, almost no smell at all. Once I've had that surface sprayed, I give it a good buff, and it really makes that surface very slippery. Because it was designed for this, I have no worries of my fabric sitting on it. And this is what I have used for most of my surfaces. However, I did find a second product that is not a spray. So if you don't like sprays, there is another option. And the product is a little paste. When you open up the container, it looks like a little bit of a cream. And there's 2 steps to putting this on. It comes with 2 little cloths. The microfiber is what we're going to apply it with, and we have a buffing cotton cloth. So to use this, we need to wet this little cloth. And I have found it really only needs to be damp. So I just spray it with a little bit of water and then just put a little bit of this cream on this cloth. Depending on the size of the surface will depend on how much cream you need to use. I've used it on my wooden counter, and I've also used it on my acrylic top and on my sewing machines. Once you put this paste or the cream on the counter, you need to let it dry. So it's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick you've put it on. And it's going to have a little bit of a haze, like a non-shiny surface. And that's what we're looking for. We want it to dry and sort of have this hazy look. Once the cream or the paste is dry, we're going to be able to buff it. And they do give you a cotton cloth. And we just buff it. And just keep buffing with this cloth on the wooden surfaces, the acrylic surfaces, even my sewing machine beds. And as you buff it, you'll see that the surface is very shiny and it becomes very slick. And if this is the first time you've used a product to slick your counter, I would recommend 2 coatings of the paste, or if you're doing the spray, 2 coatings of the spray. And then after that, you're going to be able to just keep it up every couple of months and use 1 coat. You're going to be able to wash these little cloths to keep them clean. And they do come in a little bag, but this is very, very slippery. I'm sure there's other products out there that I'm unaware of, but these are products that I have tested. So in a pinch, we do have some hair product. That sewing conditioner comes in a little squeeze bottle. Our furniture polish also works. But if this is going to be a regular routine to maintain your surface, I would recommend the 2 products that are designed just for that. And that way we don't need to worry about if there's any transfer going onto our fabric. So there's a couple of products that can do in a pinch, products that I wouldn't recommend, and products that are designed just for that purpose. It's to wax or slick our surfaces so the fabric doesn't drag, it just glides on top. I'll put a couple of links into the silicone spray so you can check them out. And I'll find some links for the polishing paste. And thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.